Greetings, gentle ladies and gentlemen. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Mansa Jamel with the AI Global Legends. And today we have a special guest by the name of Ron Spence. And he's going to be talking to us a little bit about this quantum energy, quantum technology. And we're going to do it a little bit different today. We're going to pretty much ask some questions for him, and then he's going to go on with some answers. And hopefully we can kind of do some interacting here, okay? And just for you guys that don't know my story, I got involved in this technology in December of 2019. And I was quite skeptical, I'm gonna tell you. You know, I never knew that the quantum field even, you know, could send nutrition, nutraceuticals, botanicals, or any essential oils to your energy field. And so when I started using this technology, I felt the power, the energy right away. And also, you know, I've been suffering from asthma for all my life, I would say. And to make a long story short, you know, 3 months into this thing, I would believe my asthma dropped a whopping 80% for me just using this application consistently. And then I also take, you know, martial arts and, you know, Kung Fu. And I know like every week I'll get like so tired or so like in pain. I'll be aching. And so I'll put on the pain relief. And from that pain relief, oh my God, it just works wonders. It makes me feel rejuvenated all over again. I could do all my stretches all over again with no type of pain or anything. And I have a ton of energy through the whole, you know, training. So, you know, I really believe in this product right now. I'm going full force at this. This is all I'm doing, you know, in regards to product-based programs. And by the way, this is a technology that you don't have to worry about anything coming to your front door. You can get this right away. This is something that you could sign up for today and use it today, guys. And so without any further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce Ron Spence. Ron Spence, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me fine?
Yes, we hear you.
Good.
Fine. Awesome.
Good.
And just a little bit about Ron Spence, guys. He retired CEO from Sanyo Electronics, $8 billion company. And he retired some years ago, and he got into this space, like, what, about 2 years ago, Ron? About 2 years
about
ago?
that, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Pull your camera down a little bit. All we see is your glasses. There you go.
There you go.
So, who was that? I love the laugh. But anyway, guys, you know, we just having some fun here. A good thing about this is that, you know, you can ask your questions if you've already been taking this product, and we would like to hear from you. Hear some of the results that you've been experiencing. We would like to hear your testimonial for sure. So without further ado, one of the questions that I have to Ron is that what's the difference between quantum energy and the regular vitamins and minerals that people take normally?
Good question, Mansa. That's a question that I get most of the time. You have to take a look at, first of all, when you understand how our body harvests information. Our body is made to harvest information. And we live in a biochemical world. This world that we live in is, Alexa, this biochemical. And our body harvests information from those chemicals that we harvest from botanicals. And typically, it appears that the moment that our body harvests that is at a handshake at the receptor level. When it finally gets there and everything's functioning properly, that seems to be the place where our body is harvesting that information. The reason why we've connected those dots, or I have anyways, is that we've seen where people have anecdotal and clinically is where if someone is deficient in something, and we've used this example before, a young lady having scurvy symptoms, you know, actually when she's eating vitamin C food and taking vitamin C and supplements, she still has scurvy symptoms, but yet when she takes the infoboost of vitamin C, the energy information, then her symptoms go away. And the dots that I've connected on this is that the only way that I believe that can happen is there has to be a blockage. Most likely, because we already know that we're loaded with toxins. We know the toxins block cellular receptors. And there's a lot of research on that. so if a cellular, if for example, for a cellular receptor, vitamin C receptors are blocked, then apparently she'll have the symptoms of vitamin C, a deficiency, which is scurvy is the deficiency of vitamin C. And so when she receives the energy information, it goes away. So it appears that the information gets through because it's not physical and it handshakes at the quantum level. That's at least the dots we're connecting, because we're seeing the anecdotal and clinical results of that. So I think that's probably the reason why I look at it as an insurance policy, simply because we have the ability to, our bodies have the ability to get what it needs without having physical blockages. And I think that's the reason why it's a superior technology. We see this over and over again. We see people getting results using our technology where historically they had problems forever. And now their body basically starts receiving the information. You have to, first of all, wrap your head around the fact that we are holograms, which is energy information, and we're handshaking at that level. So we're going the level below the the phytochemical level. We're going below biology and chemistry. We're going below what that stuff's made up of. And in the study of quantum physics, everything that is physical in our world is energy. And again, all energy, everything has information in it. We're just harvesting and making a handshake. So that's the reason why I think we have a superior technology. I think that everybody needs to take stuff like this, because it will ensure that your body is receiving the information that it needs. You know, we've been taught in school in biology and chemistry how the body works and how we handshake with nutrients, and nutrients are everything. And if those nutrients are missing, it can manifest in an illness and disease. But we've never been taught about the information that is imprinted in those phytochemicals. And that's basically at the quantum level what we're doing. We are harvesting that information. So that's the reason why I believe it is a significant way to improve our health. And by the way, so that you know, so I don't get carried away here on this, it just reminded me of some of these questions. I like to share with everybody that the information that I do share with you is commentary or opinion and is protected under free speech laws. And much of this information I share with you is based on my personal experiences, as well as my interpretations of the current science, and is provided for educational and entertainment purposes only. And it's not intended as a substitute for professional advice of any kind, nor any of the products or services that are discussed intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. So did that answer your question, Mansa?
Yes, very well. That answered my question. And if anyone else has a question, go ahead and put in the chat 777. And if you have a testimonial, 888, please.
Oh, hey, Mansa, I think while you're involved trying to find people to come to the call, I think probably driving around in your Ferrari at the time, we had a question by Connie who came on, and she asked the question about when we do the spark scan, right after the voice activated portion of it, there's the kinetic touch. And on the kinetic touch, we have these symbols, these emblems, icons. They're all unique and different. Some of them even have some halo things going on in it. And I wanted to know, what is that? What is that all about? Okay.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Okay. So and if I'm wrong, Connie, you know, say something. But I think that's what you meant. In any event, that was intended to be unique. Let me explain to you. When Dr. Cook put this together, he's really brilliant in all this stuff. And as I go back and look at the dots and things he's connected, I didn't dream this up myself. This is something he did, and I looked at, and with my background, realized exactly how genius and what he did and how it makes sense. And when you look at all the different players out there in the scientific community, guys with PhDs and MDs and all these different long lists of degrees in certain disciplines, they've never come up with anything like this. It takes a person that has experience in a lot of disciplines to connect these dots and put them together. And that's what he's done. And so, and I have training in a lot of those areas as well. And that's the reason why it made so much sense to me. Now, getting back to that kinetic touch, the kinetic touch is like a fingerprint. if you look at all the variations in those colors and the depths and width, and it's like a fingerprint. There's a million different types of combinations that can occur there, and not only that, but the speed at which that you activate it. For example, when the kinetic touch is in place, and you have to either touch your touch screen with your finger or use the cursor with your mouse. Either way, there's even timing, how long it takes you to touch it and how long it takes you to touch it on each one of the icons that come up. That's even being equated as to the uniqueness of who you are, okay? Along with the voice inception and the quality, the voice tone that's coming out of you and what it captures. So there's a million different things it's looking at, and it makes it only unique to you. Only you, with your voice and your kinetic touch and the response and all that. There's nobody else who will do another kinetic touch voice signal that will be like yours. I mean, nobody. And so that's how Dr. Cook captures the uniqueness of you, and it's being displayed after you do the voice scan. The uniqueness of your voice and all the inception that's going on there, it creates its own separate fingerprint. And so the fingerprint that you receive is your fingerprint based on that. And then the kinetic touch is another portion of it that actually ties it in to, tying it into you. And so it's just very clever what Dr. Cook did to identify specific a communication link with your body, as your body is now communicating with the library, selecting the things there, and also unique to you in that it is you. Nobody else can do those series of touches and voice patterns like you.
Now, will it be the same pattern all the time, every time you do your spark scan and kinetic touch?
Nope, it'll be different every time. It'll be different every time because you're different every time, and every time you do this, you're a little bit different. You might be in better shape or worse shape. There could be, we're so dynamic that what's really going on is you can be stressed this week with a number of things that happen to you, right. Stressors that came into your life that you weren't planned for. Now your body has to adjust to all that. It makes everything different. Everything is different from day to day. And that's the reason why when we do the voice scans, it's to take another picture at that moment in time where you are right now. Now, it could even be, the intent and design of the program, the system, is to improve your health, to improve your quantum wellness, which is really wellness in general, because we are taking it to a level of the lowest common denominator of what our makeup is. And so Dr. Cook has done this in such a way that just makes this is so personalized. It is so personalized. And it can change. Now, the intent is to improve all the time, but you could have something major come across in your life that really upset everything. And all of a sudden, now your body has to adjust more, and your body's now going to select something it didn't need 2 weeks ago that it needs right now because of new circumstances that came into your life. Okay, it might be exposures to bugs. It might be a stress-related thing, emotional imbalance. It could be hormonal imbalance. Things that you didn't have 2 weeks ago that now you have some stressors put into your life. Now your body is going to want to select the specific things that it needs to bring it back in the balance to where it needs to be.
Awesome. That's a great question. I'm glad we got that out the way because I always wondered that, So I have one more question here in regards to the biofeedback. So with the biofeedback, is that something that's how does that actually work for what we have here?
Okay, I'll get you as close as I can get you to that. That technology, Dr. Cook, that is the part of the technology that is patented. That's a patented process, and it's been defendable. They are able to actually make claims on that because they have a lot of research on that in history in terms of how it works, and they can actually make technical claims on the why and how it works. So here's what happens. Again, without getting into proprietariness, and I haven't been exposed to it in a way that I could even give away some of that proprietariness because that's held in secret. But understanding more how it works, your body is. Here's what happens. Dr. Cook we've already made the connection to you. Okay, so the quantum field, see, this is all works in conjunction with the quantum field, the 0 point, the conscious subconscious connection, and then the biofeedback. And this is all tied in together to make this thing work. So the computer system sends you a signal, okay? It will ping the body's energy system. It originally started out as he used to, in his OR technology, started out as galvanic skin response, and they could actually detect when something came into your energy field, your skin would actually react, and they could record that, and they could measure it. Well, now they've done it, you know, that kind of a thing electronically, so that it can read your energy system, and any exposure of information that your body likes or doesn't like, it will actually respond, and they have the ability to measure that response and weigh it, okay? Now, so when they send you, they send to your body all these different botanicals, and they do it in seconds, okay? So all these botanicals are sent to you in seconds. Your body electronically will respond like this galvanic skin response, and they can actually measure an improvement or not improvement. And actually, it's so sophisticated, they can even determine a percentage compared to the other inventory items. Okay, so that's how they rank them. And so, again, this is all as a part of how it communicates with us through the quantum realm, our subconscious consciousness, and the patented process of the of this response system. It's a way to communicate with your body, so that your body basically, you know, it's really intelligent. I mean, it just in a millisecond, and can you imagine all this stuff passing through you in a millisecond, and they're able to capture the response of a particular botanical and weigh it against all the others. I mean, that's quite amazing technology.
Absolutely.
Okay. And so, but it's one of our best tools we've ever had. It personalizes our health and what we need. In fact, even if, guys, if you did it this way, if you ran this test and it came back and it gave you the top 10, and you could even go out and find those products in a health food store, buy them and take them if you wanted to. Even that, it has tremendous value if you wanted to do that. If you couldn't even wrap your head around the fact that you're receiving the information having the same or more value. It just so happens over the years, and I remember being involved with, even though in the last few years I've been involved with Dr. Cook, I was involved with him over a dozen years ago with Zyto. That's how I got to meet him. And I can tell you, in the early days, how this all came up is when they would do a test on somebody, and it's, oh, you need vitamin B and vitamin B12 and calcium, because your body is requesting this. It's high priority. Well, back then, people would go out and buy that and use it and help their bodies. But then they start realizing, hey, wait a minute, we're seeing people with these products or problems, and right away they're getting results. That's when I think he started doing real research behind how's that happening, okay? And so that was the connection to the quantum realm. He's just made it more sophisticated so it works better.
Wow. Pretty good right there. Is there anyone else that have any questions for Ron? Malik? You're muted.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I mean, what he just said right now was like really, really on point. A lot of people cannot wrap their heads around the fact that there's no physical products. And we were doing a spark scan with someone last night, and it was hard for him to wrap his head around it at first. And we actually went and showed him what his body selected. And then we Googled all of the different ingredients, and they were like $50 a piece for each ingredient, which was, you know, pretty insane. So yeah, you could go buy them in theory, but it's going to cost you a lot more than it would to purchase a subscription. And, you know, for, you know, $100 a month, this is insane value that we're giving people. Plus it's actually connecting on a cellular level. Is that right, Ron Spence?
Absolutely, yeah. It's, again, we remember everything, our entire existence on this planet is we're energy. We're energy information, and everything in our reality is that way. So in everything energy and the impact that we have, we are providing an energy information solution to your energy information body. Okay, and it's just it's foreign to most people because we've never been taught really the truth of how we really operate at that quantum level. Hey guys, here's something else I wanted to share with you that I think that would make a lot of sense with the discussion that we're having. And I can't remember if I've ever shared this quote with you. Some time back before you guys were involved in this, I used to talk about this. But this is a famous scientist who we all know. His name's Nikola Tesla. Okay, of course we have the Tesla cars out and all the Tesla stuff. So he's a pretty famous guy, really smart. In fact, there was a conversation with Albert Einstein once, and the interviewer was asking Albert Einstein, he says, well, what's it like to be the smartest guy in the world? This is the interviewing asking Albert Einstein. And Albert Einstein says, I have no idea what that's like. You're going to have to ask Nikola Tesla about that. So he was really impressed with Nikola Tesla as well. But here's what I wanted to share with you. Here's what Nikola Tesla, one of his favorite quotes, he said, the day that science begins to study non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in one decade than in all previous centuries of its existence. Now, he's talking about the day that science begins to study non-physical phenomena. What are we talking about here? This is non-physical phenomena. It's not physical, it's energy. Everything is energy. And that's what Dr. Cook has tapped into, and we're providing solutions. Now, one of the things that has always been my favorite topic to talk about, something I've studied on hundreds of cases, it's always, and I'm just fascinated about it, and I know it's connected here. And one of these days we're going to find the answer to this, and that is spontaneous remission. Spontaneous remission, think of that. People who are dying have days to live, and overnight they're healed. You know, and they didn't take anything. There wasn't anything that they took other than the impression that they took some medicine, maybe a little bottle of water or something, or maybe, you know, I even read one case where a guy was dying, cancer, he had days to live, and he had the belief that this little splinter of wood that his son came in and gave him, said, this was the splinter I bought over in Israel, and this is actually a splinter of the cross of Jesus, okay? And, you know, I know how much you believe in Jesus, and I brought this back to you knowing that this is going to heal you. Well, it did. I mean, that the faith in that person overnight, he woke up the next morning, he was totally healed. Now, the reason why I share this stuff with you is because these are all non-physical phenomena, okay? There's no physical anything here other than energy and the belief of that, okay? And so we're talking about capturing the ability, and we're focused on a small sandbox here, it's nutraceuticals, okay? And we have some other things in there outside that, but for the most part, we are duplicating the nutraceutical information signatures, information from nutraceuticals, and the body receives that into our energy field, and the body brings it back into balance. Now, again, as we started this program here today, the difference between non-physical information, energy, and physical. Well, physical, look at all the things we've done over the years on speed. For example, we've gone from delivering the mail into your mailbox, okay? Before that, there was the Pony Express, remember that? Okay, and then we had the mailman delivering mail to your mailbox. And then look at the big leap we made when we invented the internet, and people could get mail that way over the internet. Look at all these big improvements in that, okay? Well, this is what, you know, when I look at nutraceuticals, I compare that to snail mail, which is delivery of mail in your mailbox. And I look at what we have energy information and what we're providing in this level. It's like the improved version of the physical. Now, there is value in the physical. There's biochemicals, there are things we probably don't even know about. But at the end of the day, I can tell you, the body responds very favorably to this information, and sometimes more favorably than if you're taking the physical, because we know there's all these issues going on in our life, in our modern life anyways, that prevents us from making that physical handshake for us, our bodies to harvest that information from those biochemicals. We know, looking at, for example, Dr. Emoto's work in Japan, where he's taken water, okay? And this actually is one of the early things a person could look at to help them understand what it is we're doing. Because you take Dr. Emoto, he can take water, he'll take a source of water that's the same, and he will put it in a glass jar, and he can either stick an emotion on the glass like love or kindness or forgiveness, joy, happiness, whatever, or he can just emote his thoughts into that water and say, I love you, okay? Now, what he does, talk about water, look at the top of Jamel's head there. So anyways, in any event, so he emotes love in the water. He takes a picture of it, he freezes it. Now this is so cool, guys, just to show you the power of energy and what it can do to our health. So he emotes on it. He takes a picture of it, he freezes it, he looks at it before he puts love into it, and it has a certain pattern, a geometric, symmetrical pattern, kind of looks cool, okay? But then when he adds love to the water, he imprints love into the water by just thinking love on the water or putting just the word love on the jar. And then he takes that water, he freezes it, looks at under his powerful microscope, and it creates this beautiful, lovely, just gorgeous crystalline pattern. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous, okay? And it's the same all the time for love, okay? He'll do the same process with joy, with happiness, and in fear. And the fear looks awful. It's not a very good looking thing, structure at all. The point that I'm trying to make here is in our thoughts, the things that we think actually impart energies that harm us and help us, okay? Fearful things, negative thoughts can actually harm our own body because we are 70% liquid. So we imprint negative energy into us, which now can be demonstrated that there's an impact there or impact on someone else. So when Dr. Cook has discovered what he's discovered and how he does that, he's created this, I call it the quantum physics and, quantum physics for dummies in a sense, okay? Because we all have the ability to participate in something quite grand without having to do a lot of research on how to do this. And because quantum physics is an amazing part of our reality. And as I've mentioned to you before, that when you really truly understand, you've studied it enough, you come to certain conclusions. And the conclusion that I have come to is that the quantum field is something that's very good. We look at it, this mysterious thing. Einstein called it spooky science at a distance. It's because we don't understand all the things here. But here's one thing after looking at the studies and the tests on how humans emote and have an influence as an intelligence on the building blocks of energy, which is electrons, we actually create the futures because that thought process of intelligence creates an energy field. And that energy field is comprised of electrons. And that begins the process of our reality. Over a period of time, depending on if that's good thought processes or bad processes, it can affect our health for good or bad, okay? And so as we move into the future with the development of Olympic Arc and the offerings there is going to be an emotional, now, by the way, we do have some emotional formulas in there right now, but they're tied to organs, and that's based on Eastern medicine. But this is going to be over and above that, will be tied, the emotion component will be, first of all, to identify the negative emotions that may be imprinted in our subconscious and being able to release that and stop that problem. Because you see, our emotions, which we are intelligence, so when you emote, an intelligent emotes, it sends that information to the quantum field. The quantum field looks at that, and we're creators. whatever we emote, the quantum field's like a big genie. It gives it back to us. But it's how we emote and how we do that is the key. Dr. Cook has figured out an easy way for everybody to participate in that experience through the quantum field using nutraceuticals. What we're doing now is we're expanding outside of that, nutraceuticals, and adding things like electromagnetics and things like that. And soon in the future, being able to take these emotional components to a whole new level and identify things that are part of our makeup in our subconscious and being able to correct that. And to me, guys, that's when we've arrived, because I think with all my years of studying on this, no one's really done this. Now, I know how to do this because of being trained as a hypnotherapist. Hypnotherapists, good hypnotherapists, know that this reality exists and how to normalize negative emotions and find it. But, you know, we are one of, a trillion out there almost in comparison. And so Dr. Cook has created a model that will allow us to actually do what hypnotherapists do for everybody on the street and identify these things and then have your body select and then be able to provide the emotional component and the nutraceutical component that will bring our body back into balance. And when we add the emotional component to that, guys, I just think we're going to have something that is so very special. I mean, it's so very special now, but this takes it over the top.
Absolutely.
Huge. I think we got one question here from, let's see here. Okay, so we have one from Muslima. She said, should we also use physical products that show up in the custom booths?
Okay.
That recommended or?
Okay, this is me connecting the dots. Dr. Cook might give you a different one. Dr. Cook and I have had conversations on this very subject, okay? And now let me tell you how that conversation went, and maybe it will answer this question. Initially, when Dr. Cook started with Zyto, I have the Zyto equipment, so I know all about this, and I've done it and used it. So in the beginning, many years ago, on the Zyto model, is that you would identify, the body would actually identify out of a library of whatever, products that your body would prefer and select and rate them, okay? I've been doing that for a long time. And then those people would go out and buy them. Now, if there was a recommended library there with that already there, then you could just buy them right there. So that was their model. And it still is with Zyto. But they start realizing as soon as they did that, the body would start making changes. And when it made changes, they start getting the benefit of that right away. And they thought, oh, that's really interesting. What's going on here? So that's how you start realizing and putting this all together and realizing, hey, wait a minute, maybe you don't have to do that. But here's what Dr. Cook would always tell you, because you have to understand his whole company and business has been Zyto, and they still have that model going very successfully, is that he always said that the taking the nutraceutical, the chemicals along with it, is good. And what this technology does, it enhances it and makes it better in terms of it makes it handshake better. Well, let me explain to you the model that I shared with them that I believe that might be a more accurate way to do that. And since then, I've seen him kind of getting closer to what I've been explaining. And here's what it is. And I'm using his own stuff. For example, remember I've told this a million times about the gal with the scurvy. Okay, well, if here's a person eating the physical stuff, taking the physical supplements, eating the physical food, high in nutritional value of C, and still having scurvy. Now, you see, if his model was correct, okay, and you took the vitamin C InfoBoost and it made that connection, it made the vitamin C more available in the body, well, I can see that being an argument. But here's my argument against that, okay, is the fact that, for example, let's take my situation. I've looked at where I've got rid of my asthma over a period of months, and I've gone through and analyzed all the ingredients. I realized that the one ingredient in there that my body really loved, and it followed the same pattern of having the asthma disappear when that fell off the radar, and that was this herb called lomatium. I
Mm.
wasn't taking lomatium. I didn't have any of that in my body. And then all of a sudden, here it is that my asthma goes away, the lomatium drops off the radar. And so I believe that it's the information is the key thing. We're harvesting information. And at the quantum level, the body, we're holograms. It looks at, says, my body is deficient in this stuff over here. You have names for it called vitamin C, but it's this stuff, an energy signature, an information. And when the body receives that, it actually brings it back into balance, and the biology follows. A good example of this, and this falls right into spontaneous remission. Now, think of that. Think of spontaneous remission. Days before the person's dying, and then after that, after they take this vial of water or the splint or whatever it might be, their body was healed. Okay, there was no physical anything there that really did anything. It was an energetic thing. Now, see, here's the way. All my years of studying this, and particularly with hypnotherapy, is I believe what's happening is that body, that person, connected somehow to the quantum realm, from the conscious to the subconscious. That's your personal doorway to the realm, as far as the quantum realm. And then what happens, the quantum realm provided to that body the information that it needed back through his subconscious to the consciousness. When that was missing from that person, that was all energy, it's all energy, it's all information. And when that person received it, instantly their body was healed. I mean, we're talking about, it would happen miraculously very quickly. There was no physical anything involved in that formula. Now, what we need to do is learn how to capture the very essence, the mechanism that took place there. It is believed that there has to be a component of complete faith. We can call it faith, but the ability of an intelligence to know that when I take this stuff, this vial of water, which they thought was medicine, and I believe by taking this vial of medicine, that my body will be healed with the belief. I mean, we're talking about a life and death situation here, so it probably enhances it. And it sent that message of intelligence to the quantum field. Quantum field said, oh, they need this problem. Boom, let's put it together. Zoom, boom. There it is. And it comes back. They take it. It's what the body needs. It balances itself, and spontaneous remission happens. Okay. It's kind of like placebo on steroids. Okay. And it just happens. That's I believe that's part of the mechanism that Dr. Cook has captured here, at least on the botanical world side. And we're expanding that now. And I think, this is my belief, is that as we move into this emotional component, we start looking and first of all, recognizing and finding the negative baggage that's in the emotional subconscious, and we neutralize that. I think that's when we're going to make our biggest move forward in helping our health. I really do. I think that's the missing link between us really evolving and growing to the next level.
Awesome. Thanks for answering that question, Ron. Great question as well. We have one more question. Looks like Malik Amir. Go ahead. You're live.
Yeah, so my question is something that we get commonly asked is that, so, once we set up this system and we do our, proprietary spark scan, and then we also do the kinetic touch and everything is all set up, a lot of people ask the question, do you have to keep the web-based app turned on? Is it like a frequency? Is it like some sounds that you have to listen to? Just for the viewers, Ron, could you elaborate on this point?
Very good question. That's a question that many people ask. That's a good one. First of all, the web-based application is just, you only have to have it on long enough to be able to go in, and it's just like, think of it as your remote control to your television. You turned on the television, you selected the station, you selected the program, turned it on, and it's going. Now, you don't have to have that receiver. You can turn off, in our case, once you select, and your body selects what it wants and needs, you can go turn it off. It doesn't come to you over your phone. It will run 24/7 until you tell it to do something different. And it'll just run and run and run. You don't have to have your phone. You don't have to have your computer. You don't have to have anything with you, or do you have to have it turned on? You can have it on the next date if you want to. It will always come to you until the program and it says that you've got it's going to stop in 14 days, then it'll stop. Okay. So it comes to you through the quantum field, not through the phone or your electronic device.
Great question. Is there any other questions out there? We're running our last like 10 minutes. All right, so we do have one more here. So without internet, will this technology work? Good question.
Okay. With first of all, you have to turn it on with the internet. And
so
once you
say if the internet shuts off, period.
Okay.
Like you hear these blackout days. People say,
okay.
Don't be a blackout, all the internet. But say you have your Spark scan or you have your technology running for that 14 days. Are you still going to get benefit because the internet's off?
Yeah, absolutely. You don't need the internet. Once you have it set up and running and it's going, you don't need the internet anymore. You only need the internet for the few minutes it was to do the Spark scan and get it set up and then run it. And after that, you don't need the internet anymore. Okay. Until it goes the course of the time of, if you set it for 14 days, and if the internet went down somewhere near, it doesn't matter. But if the internet's down and if your Spark scan has been terminated, now you want to do a new one and you want to start it and the internet's down, then you can't do it until you have at least internet access enough to turn it on again. But you don't need to have the internet running once you get it set up and going.
That's a good question. Thank you for that answer, Ron. All right, guys. Is there any other questions? All right, we do have one more question. Michael Moore. Go ahead, Michael.
Michelle.
Michelle. Okay, Michelle.
I just wanted to share that I'm a type, in my experience, I've been on it 1 year on the 15th. And if people had asked, when they asked me in the beginning, what results have you had? I just noted some very simple detox, maybe a dull headache, maybe I wanted to take a nap and I never take a nap. But at the end of a year, I have realized that my whole lifetime I've been constipated. I always carried charcoal tablets, and every pocket had a cough drop and a Kleenex for a runny nose. I don't have any issue at all with constipation, which to me is huge. Now I took Ron's gut and detox. It has 126 items in it, and I did my personal scan on it and ran it for 2.5 months. So that may have benefited a lot. And then I went in and now I'm focusing on the EMFs. I'm actually doing all of the EMFs every time I do my scan, and I'm doing the mold and fungus because those are new. But some people get amazing results right away. When I use the family plan to share it with someone, just to let them experience the Spark scan, I only do it for maybe 8 days and they do their second scan. And I like to go in and show them the percentages on their first scan and on the second scan and let them see that it goes, as Ron says, off the radar. So since there are only 19 items in the imponderables on the EMFs, I'm doing every one of those on every new person that I start. And then I can go back and they can actually see it. The first time that I had an instance with that, I had a lady in California had amazing benefit. We did her new scan, and she didn't want to go to it because she was getting such wonderful results from the previous one. And so she hung on to it. So I reactivated it for her. And then about 10 days later, she was willing to go to a new scan. But she went from only being able to talk for 5 minutes on the phone, and now she said, I actually talked for 1 hour. And she's had as many as 9 strokes in one day. So I was so taken with the difference between, she finally had these amazing things, and she could get out of bed maybe for 10 or 15 minutes and then go back to bed for an hour. And now it's just the reverse. She can get up and do things that she wants to do, and then she goes back to bed. Well, I never experienced anything like that. So, but at the end, I don't have leg cramps at night. I used to get up 2 or 3 times at night, and I don't get up at all. I sleep so soundly that if we've had thunder and lightning and rain, or the dog barked, or Amber Alert came in on the phone, I didn't hear it. So that tells me that there's a big change. And so, but they were very subtle, and maybe I'm just becoming aware of them. But so I don't, when I use the family plan, I'm not using it until the person feels is something. Because if a person is, isn't this right, Ron, that if a person is out of balance on their parasympathetic and their sympathetic, they might not feel something? If they're really sympathetic dominant, they just may not feel it.
Yeah, there's a number of reasons why people have, some people have better results than others. People who are, healthier don't see as much because there's not as much to fix, okay? And then there's people, most people who have some issues going on, most of them will have some type of experience. And, another thing is, as far as inflammation is a big thing that stops handshakes of physical products. But anyways, people who need more help actually will see more results. The faster and quicker typically is the case.
So I just share that to encourage people that if you don't have something immediate, just let it run for a long time, and you will gradually become aware of the small changes turn out to be something major.
Well, so here's another thing to also understand, that you can have, let's say, because the EMF thing is more new for people. Let's say that you're a healthier person, and you have a high score for maybe they're in 5G now. Maybe they're in a 5G zone, and all of a sudden they're getting in the 90s 5G. They might be a healthy person in the beginning, but over time, that 5G exposure is going to cause some problems for them. So it's good to understand and know that there's an issue there, and at least have something that will help normalize and block that.
Awesome. That's great,
So
right there.
I'm so thankful that you share your forum with us. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Is this time going to be permanent?
Yes, until further notice, right? As of now, we're going to go Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We're going to have Ron here at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we're going to have some training and some overviews, okay?
Tuesdays and Thursdays?
Yes, 3 o'clock, same time.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful, wonderful.
Keep it jam-packed, you guys. So if there's any other questions, any other testimonials, please feel free to open up your mic and share. We got about 5 minutes left before we stop.
Mansa, are these recorded?
Yes, this is recorded here.
Hello.
How would we get to the recordings?
Hello.
We will have it on the Telegram chat, so you'll be able to find it there as well. It's in the chat here. I put that there for anyone who wants to subscribe to the Telegram room.
Hello.
All right. Seems like we have a testimonial. Go ahead, Tariq. You're available. Your mic is
All
open.
right. We're live. Okay. So I had a sore case of strep throat recently. And my recovery speed from the strep throat was insane. You guys need to hear about this. I was unable to talk, barely speaking, barely swallowing water, drinking, to in the span of not even an hour, I was drinking water and gulping and eating perfectly fine. Mind you, I haven't eaten in 5 days. It was 5 days I didn't eat. And I was just eating an hour perfectly fine, normal. Easily. And yeah, that was my experience using the inflammation boost. I turned on and did a spark scan. My dad hooked it up. he did the spark scan, the inflammation one, and then we did the pain relief one.
Wow.
And then after that, I was good as new.
Yeah, that was pretty scary, guys. This guy could not even talk, swallow water. I even reached out to
Mansa.
Ron a couple times just to see if this is normal, you know. And then we noticed that, you know, he would just run in the regular custom boost. So we did a quick spark scan on him, and then within hours he was back to normal again. It's amazing.
He's my dad, if you guys are wondering.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for that testimonial, Tariq. Awesome. Let's see, who was that? Donna. Awesome. Yes, we will have that. So all of you guys that want to get access to this recording, please visit our Telegram chat. And I posted that here in the group. So just look under Telegram, download it if you don't have it, and then you'll find AI Global Legends there. All right. And without further ado, we appreciate Ron for coming on, blessing us with all this powerful knowledge, amazing knowledge, guys. Everybody say thanks to Ron. Unmute your lines.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, Ron.
Thanks, Ron.
We
Thank you,
appreciate you,
Ron.
Ron.
Thank you, Ron.
So much knowledge.
Dropping in bars. All right, you guys, peace and blessings. Stay tuned. See you guys here again on Wednesday, same time. Peace and blessings.
Thank you too.